Alright. The stream should be lagging pretty badly. There's nothing I can do. Hopefully it clears up by the time we start the gameplay. But this definitely gonna lag during this. So let's get the screen sharing properly. I meant to start earlier, but I tried everything I could do to get the internet working. There's like literally nothing I can do on my side. It is the ISP. Some of the most expensive internet on the planet. And it runs like some of the worst internet on the planet. Yay! Makes sense to me. Yeah, I don't think they'll have any Banjo either. I don't feel like changing the thumbnail. I don't think that they'll actually have a single new reveal. They're just gonna elaborate on stuff that they're already doing. That's my guess. There we go. I turned off the audio and video delay. The stream is gonna look like ass. You know what you could do is just listen to the audio from me and then watch the stream, the Bethesda stream, muted. I don't know, but it's gonna look like ass. There's absolutely nothing I can do to fix that. Pew pew. I misclicked on the thing. Like my internet was fine, and then about an hour ago or so, it just stopped working properly. It just stopped. My ISP said no more good internet for you today. Well, no more adequate internet for you today. No more insanely overpriced adequate internet. Of course it streams fine because you're not watching anything. Just wait till stuff starts to move around on the screen. You'll be able to see. Let's go ahead and unmute this and see.
Hey, we are a small snippet of Squanch Games, and we are here to tell you how excited we are to be a part of the Microsoft Games Show Extended. You know, Game Showcase Extended. What's the need for the extended? Why add that extra word?
It's like,
Is there one that's not extended? And that's why?
we're getting nods. There is a not extended one. Okay.
And that one's just called without the extended.
So that's just called
There's the normal one. I know what this is.
Yeah.
Well, hey, look, we're happy to be a part of it nonetheless.
I wasn't even watching the screen myself. I haven't looked at anything. I was too busy pulling up that old GIF. They legit could have, those three definitely could fit in a Revenge of the Nerds remake. Like, Revenge of the Nerds is a thing that can't even be made anymore. Like, it's not even possible. It's too mainstream now. Like, the jocks are the nerds now. They've taken over the culture. And they all play Call of Duty and FIFA and whatever else.
Welcome to Xbox Games Showcase Extended. I'm Aaron, this is Malik, and we have the honor of diving deeper into some of the most exciting and talked about announcements, as well as gameplay from the Xbox and Bethesda Games Showcase just 2 days ago. For the first time ever, the entire showcase was focused on games you can play over the next 12 months.
You know,
right, Aaron, you saw world premiere gameplay from Redfall and Starfield, and today we've got Bethesda's own Pete Hines.
you know,
right
when they
here to tell us
start
more.
these
You'll
things
hear from
up
the renowned
and they're
developers
just
behind
showing
the
some
brand
random
new
people you
Xbox
never seen
franchise,
before.
Our
I
History
wonder what
Untold.
makes them decide to
Dive
choose
into
the
Rocket
random
League
people, you
playing
know?
with our partners at NetEase Games and so much more.
But first, we begin with a special look at how
Like
our fans
when they
got to
bring in
celebrate
someone
the
who
Xbox
actually
and
works
Bethesda
on video
Games
games,
Showcase
like
with a
developers
message
and
from
stuff
our
like
very
that.
own Phil Spencer.
But like, I understand that, right? But I wonder like where they get these people from. Like, are they professional presenters? Like, if I watched like some kind of sports presentation, would they show up? You know what I mean?
Games, the Xbox fans, just a really special time.
Or they like influencers in quotation marks? Like, I wonder where they find people like that.
Whether it's saving the world from the aliens,
Like the developers themselves are too busy to talk to us. Get out of here. I don't believe you.
I love hearing from people.
Crunch is a myth.
Those conversations with people that hear about areas that they like and areas they wish we would do more. I think that's something that drives us. You saw it in the show today. People said
There's at least one employee who's finished his work and can come talk to us about it.
Yeah, you know, I think this is our biggest lineup ever in terms of just diversity of different kinds of games.
Then they could keep the
different
money in the
kinds of
company,
teams,
right?
Different genres.
there's some franchises, Japanese franchises.
Did he-
don't always come
he
to
almost did the
Xbox.
Spock
We've been
thing.
working on that. Today we obviously had Persona.
Persona!
It's important to us. We not only have all the games coming from our internal studios, but also great independent game developers that we work with around the world. So
Now,
could not
what
be
would be
more
best
excited
is an
for what we're
indie
doing
game
with
developer.
Kojima.
And he's got this really great idea for a game.
They put a
And I
couple
wanna
of
be
indie
clear.
game
So I know we
developers
say
as
live experience and
presenters.
stuff. He's building a video game, but he has
Then
some
they're
really
helping
unique
out
things
small
that he wants to do in the
companies
game.
at the
And
same
we said, "Okay,
time.
let's go do something together."
And
I'm just
they
really
would do
proud
that
to
shit
be
for
in an
free, I
industry
guarantee
that's
it.
part of so many people coming together.
Like, oh, you get to talk about your indie game in this showcase. Just present for us. And it's like, hell yeah, I'll do that. She. Yeah, indie devs are desperate to get some kind of attention for their stuff, right? So you help them out quite a bit, and then they just 1 or 2 of their afternoons is spent, you know, talking to people. So Valheim is coming to Games Pass, or are they advertising a new update? They need to fix some stuff in Valheim. I tried to play it again recently, and I was a lot less. I enjoyed it a hell of a lot less than I did previously. The game needs to be modded heavily in order to be fun. There's too much jank. Look, we got Valheim on Games Pass. That's what this video is. I think Valheim's good to play the first time, but then after you played it for a long time, it starts to get grating.
A dramatic gameplay demo for Redfall and closed it with Todd Howard showing us how deep the rabbit hole goes on Starfield. And we also got a sneak peek at upcoming expansions for Elder Scrolls
Now, at the same time,
Fallout 76. Here to break it all down for us is the man.
Someone like this is like he's a neutral presenter. This guy here, neutral.
Good to see you as well. So about a month ago, you all announced some delays
but
for both Redfall and
one that I'd say no to.
Tell us a little bit about
is somebody like Will Smith. I don't want somebody
with all the time
who isn't known for playing video games to be presenting.
We have continued to sort of
like they did with that.
Think about games and
what was it called?
They are going to meet our players' expectations.
They had Will Smith on that YouTube Go thing or whatever it was, YouTube yearly thing. Nobody liked that
remotely
because he's not a real YouTuber. Get him out of here.
Back in the office, and that has an impact. I also think we've been thinking about things like release dates and when do we give those out. And
now there are some famous people who are actually known for being game players.
Don't have to change later, so
that would be different.
It's not something we undertake lightly, but at the end of the day, I think what our fans expect, what Xbox fans, what Bethesda fans expect, is a high quality game, and we want to do everything we can to give our teams the time to fully realize the games they're making.
Yeah, and I think that's what it's all about, right?
Like what was his name?
Experience for the players out
Unfortunately,
there.
he killed himself.
Speaking of games, we're just going to jump into it. We're going to start with how the showcase started with Redfall. Now, before we even get into
I really liked him. He was a comedian, but I've already forgot his name. I'm so bad with names.
Just in case people don't know.
Sure.
These folks over there, they're doing their thing.
Arcane Studios is known for really amazing, immersive.
But he was really known for being a game player. He even named his daughter Zelda.
If you play games of theirs, Dishonored 2,
yeah, YouTube rate rewind.
There's a lot of common threads you'll find.
Like if they brought Will Smith in here to be presenter, even if he didn't slap somebody, people would be like, "Boo, get out of here."
In Dunwall or you're up on a.
There has to be someone who's known for liking video games if they're famous.
There's a reason why things are the way they are. They're also a big
because they're posers. Like, get out of there.
Scripted. So they really embrace player freedom and sort of giving players the tools to decide. You figure out how you want.
Now, someone who we don't know, who's not famous, like that other guy, neutral. I don't feel one way or the other.
And then give you the freedom to go. And
but an indie dev, now that would be like they should do that.
They bring a lot of different elements and then really let.
Like I honestly don't care about anything that he's been saying.
That's what it's all about. Gamers have taken many games and made it their own, and I think the fact that Arcane is making a game that
like everything that this Pete Hines has been saying right now, I'm like, whatever.
Redfall is from the other Arcane.
I mean, look on the
because I don't care about Redfall, dude.
You can play
like
solo or with.
I don't care about your co-op 4-player squad-based shooter game. Okay.
And don't get me wrong, there's
horde squad-based shooter. We've seen this game 100,000 times. I don't want to play it. I guarantee other companies do it better than you. I don't got time for your shit. I can go play Left 4 Dead. I've never even played Left 4 Dead. That tells you how much I care about your damn game.
To bring all of those things together, really high level of polish, and
they're posers, not nerds. Exactly.
All those things we
they want to be nerds.
If you want to play
the jocks
and get a great Arcane story, you can absolutely do that in Redfall. But you can also do things that you have
Robin
to
Williams.
do in an Arcane game, like experience it
like
with friends
if Robin Williams was still alive and he was a presenter, I personally would have been aight, because Robin Williams actually is a real gamer, or was.
I think the more
like he legit, like he played video games so much he actually named his daughter Zelda.
And it's a game that allows you to do either or both.
I'm glad you talked about playing with friends, because I'm taking applications for friends.
And he would be funny as hell. He'd be busting jokes the whole time.
I'm down to a little.
It'd be an honor. Pete,
keep me on that list.
All right,
we need to go explore Redfall together.
I'm excited. I can't wait for that. And so let's talk a little bit more about the game. Now, between the trailer that we saw last year at the reveal, as well as this one that we just saw.
But part of the reason I don't want someone who is nobody, though, who isn't, who doesn't appear to be a game developer or a famous person or anything.
Again, it's one of those things, like if you watch,
is because I'm jealous. Like, who the hell is this guy? Why can't I do that?
Or any of these things and go, oh, I see.
I guarantee I know more about video games than he does. I guarantee it. Plus, I'm a cat. Everybody loves cats.
Disservice that it's all of the things that take place in between the combat, as well as the combat itself, sort of combining different skills and abilities in the way that you do. Layla dropping down an elevator using her powers that Jacob.
You know what it was, Vepper? You miss Robin Williams. He saw it coming. That's what it was.
Characters who play roles really well. How you
He saw
choose to
modern
use the
politics
bone,
coming, and he just
the
didn't want
robot,
anything to do
all
with
of
it.
Those things come into, again, allowing the players not to say, here's a set of rules and you can only use, like, no, here's just some stuff that you can go off into this
I miss
amazing
him
sort
too,
of
man.
dynamic, ever-changing world and sort of experience and
The
explore for
world is a
yourself. And you
worse
come back the
place
next day
every time a
and
comedian
it'll
dies.
look and feel like a different experience, even though you're in the exact same part of the game. I mean, I think those are the kinds of things that Arcane does that really
Come on, man. Talk
bring
about game that isn't a
extra special
4-player
element that makes their game
squad-based
so compelling.
Compelling
horde
and
shooter.
fresh. So I'm excited for Redfall, and you said it here for everyone to see that we're going to be playing together. So I'm going to hold you to that.
Absolutely.
We got the proof. All right.
Can't wait.
See, look at him. He's like he's like me. He's like a nobody, like I am, and he's like, I get to play a game with this dude. I'm gonna pick his brain. I'm gonna hold him to, and he's not gonna do it though. He is not gonna play with him. I guarantee that. As soon as that interview's over, he's gonna walk away and never talk to that dude
again.
again.
What we love about where Elder Scrolls Online is going is their ability to continually refresh the experience for players, provide new experiences like going to High Isle, a place they've never been in an Elder Scrolls game. It does a lot of things like story and intrigue. There's a lot of politics in High Isle, different factions and the conflict that's going on there. And again,
Robin was more. He was a comedian.
Jump in and play by yourself and
He
experience
was a comedian
by
first.
yourself, even though it's an MMO. But the real,
like most
special
people
sauce
who
of
have
Elder Scrolls Online is our
psychological
amazing community.
damage like
They're
that.
so welcoming. They're so helpful. You know, if you need a little bit of help, if you need a lot of help,
They're there.
they're there.
The
for
thing
you to help
that
explain to,
he
you know, to
enjoyed
make sure you
most
have a
in
fun
life
experience. And honestly, like
was
that is
making
such
other
a
people
huge part
laugh.
for an online game of creating an environment where anybody, no matter whether you just started
At the
playing
end
or
of the
you've been
day,
playing
that's what
for
he did. He made
8
people
years,
laugh.
can have a good
That's what he wanted.
experience no matter how you decide to engage with it.
I love that you mentioned that. Community is such a, as you mentioned, is such a huge part of any online game. And so for players who may not have played Elder Scrolls, who are, like you said, looking to jump in, to know that they have that community backing them, that's going to help them guide them in their journey is super exciting. So, but I want to talk about Fallout a little bit.
Okay.
Huge milestone recently, 25 years
Like-
of Fallout. It can
Like if
rank
you
the
could
target.
resurrect him from the
That's
dead,
fun, right?
and you're like,
Talk
what are
about
the
that,
things
right?
you're
So
most
this
proud
must be
of?
something,
I
super
guarantee
special to
number
you.
one would be
And
his
look,
family,
we are
and number
as
two
aware
would
of
be
anybody. Like this
like
franchise did not start
how
with
many
Bethesda.
people's
It's one that we
lives
took
he
on
made
along
better
the
just
way,
by
and-
making
and
them
our
laugh.
intent is not just to pay homage to like Bethesda.
It's easy to
Fallout,
like.
no, we mean
It's
all
easy to
Fallout.
make
What the
someone
series
cry.
has done, what it meant to us as players when we
Right.
went and played
You
those
just
games,
walk
played
up
the
to him and
original
hit him with a
Fallout,
bat.
Fallout 2, and then what the franchise has become, and sort of
To make
growing,
someone
finding
happy.
even, you know, a new audience with Fallout 3, Fallout 4, Fallout New Vegas.
Every single
Fallout
year,
76 is something
you know
we
what should be
really want
winning
to
Oscars and all that
celebrate.
other
And
shit?
honestly, the, you know,
Comedies.
what's going on in Fallout 76
It is
with
infinitely
their
harder to make
ability
someone
to
laugh than make someone
continue to
miserable,
push
dude.
the boundaries in an online game of story and meaningful player choice.
Time
and
spent
as you're
smiling
going
and
along,
laughing is
making
time spent
decisions that
enjoying
kind of,
life.
matter and have a real impact, I think, is important in the evolution of Fallout 76, and just honestly
So,
how far that game has come.
it is
from
a
its launch.
true
Like, we are
blessing
keenly aware of how that,
that
launch
for
went, but we are
anyone in
also
this world
keenly
who
aware of
was
the
as
incredible
talented
amount
as
of effort and dedication
Robin
from
Williams
all of our
was
teams across
at
Bethesda
making
to
people
say, like,
smile
we
and
believe
laugh
in
and
this
enjoy
thing,
life
and
is
we wanna give the
a
fans
true
more of
blessing
what
to
they
this
want
world,
and the
and
kind
it
of
is always
experiences that
horrible
they
whenever
want.
they
And
die.
where Fallout 76 is now is truly remarkable when you go back and look at sort of where we were and how far we've
Absolutely
come,
horrible.
and honestly how much cool stuff is in store in the pit. It's going to be super fun.
Excited to jump in, and again, that's one of those things that I'm sure you guys attribute to the community, giving that feedback.
You know, that 76 community, again, not just in the game, but what they do for each other, to support other folks in the community, what they have done to raise funds for worthwhile causes. Like, it's not just an amazing group of gamers, it's an amazing group of human beings, and honestly, one that we're honored to interact with and be a part of every day.
I love that, Pete. Before you make me cry, we're going to move on to Starfield, all right?
Okay.
All right, so let's talk about it. Starfield ended the show. I got to say, watching the trailer, breathtaking. It's one of those things from the different locations and just seeing the difference between
It was
that moon
interesting,
versus the populated
but it was
city,
not
just
breathtaking.
amazing. The dog fighting, just everything was so awesome. The team really outdid
And there was a lot of
It's one those things
apprehension
about a
too.
Bethesda Games Studios game that I always love, and it's been the case honestly since, you know, I
Like, there were a
worked on
few
Morrowind
things
and
that threw
Oblivion,
off
all those
alarm
games
bells.
that, you know, we talked about, and for every
Like-
single one, you cannot pin people down to, oh, it's about
like when they very first started using the guns,
like, ultimately what those
like
games
the people they were shooting weren't reacting, and then they would just die, and I was like, uh-oh. But then later on, it started to actually, they actually started to react. So maybe they just don't have the programming down for that yet. Hopefully they'll finish it.
This game is about. It's not us prescribing and saying,
and then
you have to do these things. And
like the biggest red flag for me was 1,000 worlds.
Over 1,000 planets. So you can
why do they keep saying that like it's a good thing?
It's entirely up to you to figure out what is fun for me. Do I want story? Do I want to join factions?
All right, let me put it this way.
And gather resources to build more cool stuff. The team really puts all
how
of those tools
many
in the player's
points
hands and
of
step back and
interest
says, now it's time for you to tell the story of Starfield,
are
which is your story,
in
which is
Fallout
going to be different
4?
than mine, which is going to be different than everybody else's. And I think that's really where the magic of a Bethesda Games Studios game happens.
Speaking about the scope of everything,
There are
Todd said, this is what an epic
320
RPG is. What does Bethesda define an epic
Five.
RPG as?
There are
I think, again, it's
325
sort of
locations in
into-
Fallout 4.
Look, there's a lot of folks who take a lot of
325 locations in Fallout 4.
And Bethesda Games
As in,
Studios always
you
pushes
walk to a
themselves
place,
to the most freedom
and there's a
and
couple
least
houses there,
limitations, right? Where the items in the world are all real
or
things. You walk
there's a
into
little
store, there's a bunch
town,
of weapons or whatever. Like that's not just
or
art
there's a
on
gas
countertop. Like,
station,
you can pick those up.
right?
You can
These are
steal them
individual
and run out of it. You
locations.
can create chaos. Like we don't want to.
Like some of them they're a town, some of them they're like literally just a gas station.
And then they try it. And then
some of them there's a vault where they made a whole vault, right?
He was shooting at me and like that's, I think.
Have a nice one, Phantom. Now there's only 325 of those in Fallout 4.
To explore that, right? It's not just
Now they have
one,
1,000 planets.
spend thousands of hours doing nothing but shipbuilding and like focus that as all you're about. And
You
that's
cannot
okay.
tell
But
me
you
that
could
they
also be
made
about exploring
anything
every
more
planet
than
and finding
a
all of the good- and that's okay.
single
Or you can just play the main story.
one
and be like, I want
handcrafted
to kind of
location on
experience
each of
that
those
I'm driving
1,000
through
planets.
So that I kind of get to see stuff, and I might stop here and there. Oh, there's a cool
Most likely
side
there
quest that
won't
I
be
got, but,
any. There'll
I
be,
want something that sort of
I bet you there'll be
leads me through because I'm a
0.2,
little,
0.1
you can go do whatever I want. Like, ooh, I don't know what I should do. So
handcrafted
some folks
locations
want
per
a little bit
planet.
of a guided path or to understand where the fun is, and no approach is wrong. Like for me, that's epic because it says.
So it's
"We're not
just going to
putting
be
any limits on
procedurally
what you can
generated
or can't
iron ore.
do. We're going to set you loose and just sit back and watch the beauty that you create with your own stories and the way that you solve problems or choose to spend your time in this world we've created.
I love that, and
And I doubt that procedurally generated iron ore is going to be better than No Man's Sky,
Those are some of the best moments if I think back.
which they've been working on for like what, 10 years now?
With my friends, oh, did you see that? No, I didn't see that. Where did you see it? And having them go out and find it. So I think that's going to be one of those things.
We talk about that a lot. That sort of water cooler moment. Of
Exactly.
like you come in the next day and you talk to everybody about what you did, and you were like, wait, I did that quest, but I did this completely different thing, and you sort of start to appreciate all of the choices that
Yo, what did he just say?
You didn't even realize. You sort of start to about what you did, and you were like, wait, I did that quest, but I did this completely different thing, and you sort of start to appreciate
Oh, okay, never mind.
all of the choices that you could have made you didn't even realize were an option. Like, oh, I didn't even think about doing that. Like, oh yeah, I just ran in and stole his ship and shot all of his crew members and took off. Like, you can do that? Like, oh yeah, you can do anything. Like that, I think that is a special part of a Bethesda Game Studios game. And when we say epic RPG, we mean all of the stories, all of them.
All right, you just gave me some ideas for stealing people's ships. So I appreciate that. That's going to be top on the list to do in Starfield. Now, we saw quite a bit of combat and action in the game. That seems to also be, in addition to exploring and everything, that semes to be another
GSA.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, look, if you look at a game like Skyrim, which like everybody's played Skyrim at this point, it can, you know, a combat is a big part of that. Unless you decide it's not. Like if you're one of those folks that says, actually, I'm going to do the alchemy thing, and I just go off and pick flowers and make potions and like live another life in another world this way, then combat isn't part of it. But look, we know in an epic RPG, there's always bad people. They, you know,
They just literally showed this the oh my god, they're showing the worst parts of the shooting combat. Look, watch this. Watch this in slow motion. This is the stuff this is the very first like combat they had showed. Later on in the cutscenes, it started to look better, but this is when I was like, is that how it is?
There's always bad.
Look at this.
People
And then he goes, oh wait, I'm dead.
You know, shooting at you.
And then he said same thing. Oh wait, I'm dead. And watch this guy.
Return fire, and there's a lot of
They're not reacting at all to being shot.
And so, you know,
They should twitch or something, right? Oh wait, I'm dead.
Sort of determine how good you are in combat, combined with all the different weapons in the game, and then you layer in ship combat and all these other things. It starts to sort of paint the picture of just how broad or how deep the rabbit hole goes.
It's going to be so impressive. And you touched on it a little bit, and I want to talk about it because
Now, later on in the showcase, they actually showed people reacting to being shot.
There's so much behind it.
So I think they just don't have it all down yet.
Cosmetically, I want my ship to look like this or look like that. Though obviously that's totally the thing that you can do if all you care about is cosmetics. But it goes much deeper than that in terms of like what kind of shields you have, what kind of weapons you have, like what kind of ship are you building, what do you want it to be good at, what trade-offs are you willing to make or not. And then the other part of it is, of course, well, you can't just like it's a spaceship. Those aren't cheap. So you have to figure out like how am I going to do this? Where do I get the resources to build this stuff? What kind of skills do I need to level up to improve different parts of my ship beyond what I could do without those skills? So there's a lot of again choices in terms of you get to decide that how much you want to put into that or not. Do you just want to give somebody money for the parts that you want? Do you want to build it? All of those things are sort of part of the fun of deciding how much do you want to interact with this and how do you want to interact with it.
Absolutely. I mean, just as you mentioned, the scope, the level of player agency, something that I feel like is going to just make Starfield such a special experience. So between Redfall, ESO, Fallout 76, and Starfield, you all are just
Yeah, we have a few games coming out.
It's going to be so great. Pete, thank you so much for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, Pete. Now, coming up, we'll hear from our friends around the world, including Squanch Games, Obsidian Entertainment, Playground Games, and of course, Xbox fans like you. But first, let's hear from the creators of one of the world's most popular Battle Royale games.
But yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Gamer Boy. Because now, if it was Universal,
We'd like to share Naraka Breakpoint, a unique online multiplayer action game with players all around the globe.
if it was Universal and the people like throughout the whole trailer never reacted to being shot, then I'd be like, oh, I guess it's just the way it's gonna be, which is fine. There's a lot of RPGs who do the gunplay like that, which is kind of meh, whatever. But the dudes at the beginning of the trailer, most of them had no reaction to being shot until they ran out of HP. And then but halfway through the trailer, especially when they like the guy was trying to hide behind the box and stuff, like you started to see like when they started getting hit with bullets, they started to react. Hey, welcome back, Pay. So it's kind of weird that the video they chose to show again was of them being hit with bullets and not reacting. Now, even in a two-player game, in a multiplayer game, you can have someone reacting to getting shot with bullets. You just have it reacting on the other player's screen, right? So for instance, if you got a player over here and a player over here, and this player over on the left shoots the player on the right, from the player on the left's perspective, the player on the right is kind of like their body is just like almost like when someone pretends to get shot in the movie and they're like right, like they're doing that fake thing, but to a little bit more of a minor extent. But the player on the right, they're not moving at all, right? Like to them, they still have complete control over their character and they're not shaking as they get hit. But then the player they're shooting is. And so that makes it feel like your bullets have some sort of impact. But if the way it was shown earlier in this, where they put an entire magazine into another character, and the character had no reaction until his last hit point was gone, and then he goes, "Ah!" Oh my god, they're making him. You saw that? But yeah, welcome back, Phantom. But so yeah, their whole then it makes it feel like the characters you're fighting are spongy. It makes it feel like the weapon you're using is weak and not very responsive. Like one of the biggest parts of gun combat that makes it feel satisfying is that the things that you hit with the weapon and how they act when you hit them with a weapon. And the same goes for melee. If you're just chopping ass at some monster in a melee game, how's it going, Mexican Tail? And nothing is happening, it's kind of boring.
We're always listening to our player base.
You want to see them act. You want to see them act and react.
Players will see the first chapter of our campaign mode. Form teams of 3 to take on new enemy types and massive bosses. Disarming a boss won't be as easy as disarming another player, though.
Didn't realize I was muted. Sound plays a part in feeling like your weapon has some sort of meat to it. If you're using a controller vibrating helps as well.
Any feedback you have for us.
But one of the most important parts of making a weapon feel like it's satisfying is actually
Naraka is launching on Xbox Series X and S and Windows
seeing
Store
it
on June 23rd.
have an impact on the world.
At launch day. Now's your
Like
chance
if you
to
shoot it
dive
at a
into
wall, the
world of
wall should
Naraka
spark
Blade
and make like bullet marks. And if you shoot it at a player, which is the thing you're trying to shoot at the majority of the time, the same thing should happen to them. There should be things should happen. There should be impact hitting them. They get bloody in that area. They react with their body twitching.
History is filled with moments of greatness. Some well known, some lost to time. But what about the history that could have been if you were its architect? How would you?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to upload a picture of my cat face and see what Starfield thinks about that.
And when your people speak, would you listen? How would you lead them in this world?
I mean, here's my picture. Here's my picture, Starfield. What do you think about my face?
History is filled with moments of greatness. But these will be yours.
I'm doing okay.
I'm
Mexican
excited to
tail.
welcome our friends from Oxide Games for a closer look at their historical grand strategy game for PC called Ara History Untold.
I don't know. I'm kind of bored with
Dan,
grand
Michelle,
strategy games
thank
lately.
you two for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
And on behalf of the entire studio, we are really excited to be here and finally be able to talk about Ara.
I mean, we all are excited too. You just had the world premiere 2 days ago for Ara. And I have to say, I'm a really, really big history fan. I love me some history, so I've been looking forward to talking to you two about this. Now, we all know this is not your first strategy game, but the vision behind Ara is so ambitious. So tell us more about it. And also for those who are new to Oxide Games, we would love to hear more about the studio as well.
So any of you play any grand strategy games?
Years ago, in my basement, actually, from the development leads of Civilization 5. And our goal is to push strategy games to the next level.
And what's really great about working on a new IP is that you don't have kind of these previous expectations that a sequel would have. And so the sky really was the limit, and we got to really take the genre to a new space. And we really hope that not only will fans of strategy games like this, but people who've never played a strategy game before will find something they love as well.
You're absolutely taking it to the next
nope.
level. I
Unless they're a kid who's growing up, you ain't gonna get anybody to play a grand strategy game who's never played it before. You ain't gonna get like a 20-year-old dude who's like, I want to try my first grand strategy game. No, that shit don't happen. You either play these games or you don't play them. Period. You'll know when you're a kid whether or not you're interested in these types of games.
What we wanted to do with Ara was really explore how to make the game less about finding that optimal strategy, that optimal path.
And if you dumb it down enough to where mainstream people like it, then grand strategy people won't like it.
So that when you play, it's different than when I play, and yet we can both be competitive together. How can we do things to really impact agency and expression and really let you express your values and your play styles through the different mechanics?
They're both nerds. Come on now, Daily.
What about you? How does the vision impact the overall experience?
So one of the big things that we've been working on is what we call the living world. We wanted the expression of the game to manifest itself in a way that felt authentic and cool. So we've spent a lot of effort on making sure that the choices that you make are expressed in a
I don't know. There's
way.
just been
And
so many
you're gonna see
lifeless,
your
soulless
citizens
grand
doing
strategy
things
games recently
that reflect the choices that you've made. And this is actually
that I'm
really
not as
challenging.
interested.
So one
The
of
problem with grand
goals
strategy
when
games,
we founded Oxide was to not have to tell the designers, no, you can't do that thing. And so the game is obviously huge.
is that it is
it's
a
massive. And
what
so
he
there's
just
a
said.
very large technological constraint.
It is
from
a
doing something like
massive
that, but we
investment
have
in
a
your time.
proprietary engine that allows us to really bring this alternate Earth to life.
Ooh, I think I just bumped the hell out of my mic.
Because in history, the great thing
Does my
about
audio
learning
still sound
history is that
normal?
You learn about culture, you learn about stories, you learn about things that are probably brand new to your eyes.
For most good grand strategy games, you're like 100 hours in before you're competent at the game.
Is a beautiful sight to see, and I'm excited to get my hands on it. And
Playing a grand strategy game is like picking up a game like Fortnite for the first time. You pick up a game like Fortnite for the first time, you don't know what the hell you're doing. You're getting killed all the time. I doubt there's very many people who pick up Fortnite and start winning the game immediately, right? Not unless there's some sort of professional gamer who does nothing but play those types of games. Like I don't play the game myself, but same with like a fighting game, right? You pick up a fighting game for the first time. You don't know what the hell you're doing. You're not competent. 100 hours later, you start to understand how to play the game properly. That is what grand strategy games are.
Expect from the
Obsidian
launch of Grounded.
The big one, of course, is going to be a complete game that is story, right? You know, from beginning to end, you can play through, you know, why are you here? Who put you here?
Yeah, exactly.
And how are you going to get home? And I think those are like the big questions that people are asking about Grounded. Originally, we really just wanted to make a survival game. And one of the jokes was, hey, what if we did backyard survival? Everyone was like, yeah, that's a very unusual idea, but I think there's something there. One of the things that we did early on was establish the art style of Grounded. Things started like coming to life as we did the initial prototypes and like seeing some of the cool things, like the first time we added like the spider into the yard, seeing the reactions of people in the office, like even like jump scares, like people screaming. The team is very small. It's the smallest team I've ever worked on at Obsidian.
Hold on, I'm opening it up.
I wanted everyone to be able to participate on the design side of things. So I said everyone is a designer on the team. And I think that extends into our community and how we're building the game in game preview and early access.
That's probably one of the big successes of the game is how close we work with the community and take all their feedback and suggestions. I think it's super rad.
For
you guys ready?
Too, that is a huge, huge thing, just to get people's feedback constantly of what they're liking, what they're not liking, and all those adjustments just make a much, much better game at the end of the day. We're at that point now that the yard's getting finished, and now we can play through the story. There's a lot of surprises. There's a lot of things that I think players aren't going to expect, and I
think I know what you're talking about. I cannot wait to see players' reactions. I know a lot of players are just waiting for the story to be finished to finally jump into the game. People who played the game previously are also like holding out for more content. I think it's just going to pull a lot of people back in and gain a lot of new players. So Adam, we have the Broodmother from last year. It was like our first big boss. And then we came out with a bunch of mini bosses like
Termite King and
the assistant manager. But in this trailer, we're showing players the Mantis. What can they expect from this?
So we're super excited to finally show off the Mantis. I know that's been a big ask from players that they want to see a praying mantis in the game.
They've been asking for this for a long time. Do we have anything else that the players can get excited about?
You know, the mantis is just a little tease of one of the new boss fights, but there's more to come, right? Like potentially many boss fights that we have planned for the full release of Grounded. There's a lot more secrets and other things to uncover.
I enjoyed Grounded a bit, but it was too glitchy.
When we reached 5 million players, that was already
like that giant spider jumping through the ceiling into a tiny little freaking hallway and clipping through everything and killing me. That was the end of my gameplay.
That just goes to show that we have a fantastic game. Everyone's just so surprised at like how much Grounded has grown.
I just hope that players and the community understand how important they are and impactful on this game with us.
Yeah, we're so thankful for everyone's support along the way. It's been an amazing journey, and we're finally almost at the finish line, right?
Yeah.
And I think we wouldn't be here without our amazing community and all of the fan support.
I agree. Best community ever. Yeah.
I wonder if they count me as one of those 10 million players, because I played it on Games Pass. I canceled my Games Pass. I just don't have enough money.
So I got a call from my good friend York Newman, the head of Microsoft Flight Simulator. He told me it was imperative.
There is no way I just can't afford that kind of monthly subscription.
We're on our way. Let's go.
But it is a good deal for people who are playing the games on it. I have a backlog of games that I'm going to be playing that aren't on it, right? So there's no way.
York! Hey, Paris, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Thanks for coming to DC, man.
No.
I'm not laughing.
Later. Let's get in. We don't have much time.
You're not? Oh my God.
All right, Paris, right across the Potomac. That's where our contact is.
Well, my bit rate's been ass the whole stream, guys. I don't think it's going to get better.
York, what is this place?
Oh, you'll see. Let's go.
I don't know, man. I wonder if this music is copyrighted. Or is it some sort of stock royalty-free music?
But this makes a lot of sense. I saw during the trailer there's a collaboration between the Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum and Flight Simulator. Here we are at the National Air and Space Museum. So let's talk about that collaboration. Tell me more about that.
Well, Jorg and I have been talking for more than a year. He was looking for me, and it turns out I was looking for him to ask the same
So do any of you ever play flight simulators?
Our organizations have a lot in common, dedicated to bringing flight to everyone, and
I was looking for the Spirit of St. Louis, which is in the Smithsonian ever since 1928. And the Smithsonian was gracious enough. They gave us a millimeter perfect scan, which is what we'll feature in the 40th anniversary.
A millimeter
but
perfect
as Nick and I
scan.
kept talking,
Wow.
it was very clear, you know, the world's foremost museum for air and space, the Smithsonian. Yeah. And Microsoft celebrating its 40th anniversary.
I've played flight simulators.
yeah, authenticity, accuracy, access, it's all there. We're hoping
Haven't
that
touched
if
one in over a
everyone has as
decade or
much
two.
fun in the community with the
Probably
content
2
that we
decades or
initially
more.
collaborated on a couple of our most historic aircraft, and some of the other aircraft in this center are already in the
I'm not
simulator.
interested in playing
Maybe
them
we can
anymore
jump in with
at
both
all.
feet and do more in the years
If I
to
was
come.
wealthy, I would play
We'll go
one.
crazy. We'll put the space shuttle in there.
Like, you know, if I was actually a millionaire, I probably would play a flight simulator or two. Because I would buy one of those, you know, several $100
keep your eyes peeled, stick
sticks that you can
together,
get and things
Jorg, I've
like
got something
that. Make
special
it
for
feel
you right
real,
around
you
here.
know?
Perfect.
Well, except for the
Check this
fact that there's no
This is my
G's.
favorite plane, the Junkers U-52 3-motor. Amazing.
And that is an awesome plane. And as I look at all these planes around here, it makes me ask the question, are you going to put all of them in Flight Sim?
Maybe not all of them, but we hope a lot of them. In the 40th anniversary that comes out this fall, we already have 3. We have the Wright Flyer, the Spirit of St. Louis, and the DC-3. And we hope to get a few more. As Nick and I were talking, there's a lot of things we could do.
Yeah, we started with the most iconic ones, and who knows? There's no lack of opportunity.
You know, I keep saying amazing because
That's
this
cool,
place
Daly.
is amazing. And just like Flight Sim, it just keeps going. So what else
This is
is
Daly was in the Air
It does seem
Cadets.
like we're going
That's neat,
supersonic,
man.
Like the Concorde here. We've been doing a major update ever since we launched, every month since August 2020. And just today, we're actually launching World Update 10. And guess what?
I've been to a
Coming
place similar to
United
this.
States. And it's huge. We have a dozen cities, a new height field, brand new aerials, new missions, new airports.
Like a museum that had
And
a
as
bunch of
always,
planes that you get to look at real close.
And check out this beauty. This is the Beechcraft Model 18. They call it the Twin Beach. It's a famous plane, and that's also launching today. And it's a great coincidence.
It's actually a huge coincidence. Jorg's been working on that Beechcraft since before we met, but it's a great example of how much we already had in common.
So Jorg, what can we expect the rest of the year from Flight Sim?
We have a ton of great things coming up. So today is World Update 10. We have 2 more World Updates, one in August and one in October. And then in November, we have the big 40th anniversary edition, which will be an absolute delight for anyone who loves aviation.
Okay, that 40th anniversary edition. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so we're celebrating by bringing back some of the planes from the old Sims, like from Flight Sim 10.
Yep, that's pretty
9,
cool,
8,
Gamer Boy.
Before that, and we're restoring some of the old missions, and we're bringing back some of the airports that were in those editions. So it's a real celebration of the franchise.
So this celebration is not only of the franchise, but the past as well.
And we're also adding brand new things on top of it, like that the community really wanted. For example, helicopters. Sobo wrote a brand new fluid dynamic system to make all that work. And then we're adding gliders, which is a completely different way to experience the planet. It's just you and the wind. And then the last one is we're bringing, it's the biggest deal for simmers, a brand new real-to-life airliner, the A310 from Airbus, by a brand new partner called Builds, a great development team. In fact, of the 10 planes we're bringing, most
Not many people are
with third parties. So it's a really
are
cool
watching
way
this
for us
compared to last
integrate
time.
with the creative
I think that
community.
because they knew it wasn't going to be that much new stuff.
If you're on Game Pass, if you already own Flight Sim, the 40th anniversary edition is a free upgrade.
This has just been an incredible experience, seeing all these planes and going through the history and
Yo, there's
everything that's come
giraffes
into
in
play.
Flight Simulator.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming to DC. Paris, thank you, Nick, for the great
Isn't this the same guy when they first showed off Flight Simulator and he had like aviators on and he said a joke that made me laugh? I can't remember what it was. But I feel like when they first showed off Flight Simulator a few years ago, this is the same guy.
It was a good day, but now I have a need for speed.
And he was like, yeah, no, he got the aviators again. I knew it, it is him. Oh crap, no, that's definitely copyrighted. Okay, there we go. Okay, you know, this is sounding copyrighted too. All right, we're just gonna we're just gonna mute this for a minute here. I found it. Look, I memed him. There he is, right there. See? We going to the danger zone, baby. He said that. And he put that smile on his face right there as he said it. I knew I remembered him. I made that meme like over a year ago. It made me laugh when he did that. That was one of the funniest part of the presentation, his dumb ass.
Just the passion that people have. I feel.
Bro, does someone really get their nails to have a controller on it? Gaming culture's gone too far, man. There's these. Oh, they're back. They're back.
So. All right, you're a bounty hunter now.
I love the name for these guns though, Gatlings. Are you here, Vepper? They named these alien guns. The race of the alien gun is Gatling. They're Gatlings.
Pretty insane. There's a lot to talk about.
Let's dive in. So Justin, you're typically known for working in animation.
Nope,
What
you
brings
may
you
not
into the
ask
world
me
of
anything,
games?
Mexican
Why
Tail.
are you in the world of games?
Yeah. I'm obsessed with games. Have been my whole life. Always had ideas, always had, you know, things I would love to make, but just never thought I could ever step into that arena because I lack all the skills needed.
You don't know how games work.
Other than like creative direction, creative ideas, like other than that, I lack all the skills to execute.
But that's why, like, that's part of why you want to start Squanch, right? Is like to be able to have an idea like that and let it grow to something amazing.
And to be able to be creatively free. I wanted to make games that I wanted to play. And that was sort of the spark that just of Squanch Games. And then we shipped Trover and we shipped Accounting Plus. And now we're on this absolutely dream game. This is like our real legit swing at like a proper.
I guess this is why.
Like, we're indie, but like this is like our.
But hey, didn't you just ask? You've
Yeah,
asked two questions now.
for indie.
We're triple
That's
I.
two.
Yeah. This is a triple I game.
So the story of our game mostly follows like Earth being invaded by this evil criminal cartel of aliens who come in and kidnap humans and start selling them on the black market like they're drugs. And you're the one human who has to team up with a talking gun and stop them.
And when you select a cartel leader that you're gonna go after, like it.
They did the thing. They referenced Total Recall.
That world that they're in.
When he did the way he split up his fingers, that's a Total Recall
the worlds
thing.
of the game, the art style of the game, the visuals.
Yeah.
Total
So
Recall,
we spent a lot of time kind of constructing,
Alien
creating
Hand.
awesome alien worlds. Myself and Mikey Spano, who is our art director, him and I worked like a ton on the sort of art direction of the game. He really kind of landed in this space, which was kind of Blade Runner meets the Muppets. So we're trying to capture that feeling with all of our characters, especially our aliens. And then each world is its own kind of unique flavor, right? I think some of the ideas came from very kind of core thoughts. Like we want to have an awesome alien, like drug.
You hate cats? How dare you, Mexican tail?
Really
No.
the sort of really clear and like it's almost deceivingly simple narrative, right?
Save the Earth, humans or drugs, talking guns. Ta-da.
So Alec, who are the guns? What's their deal?
The guns are these talking alien Gatlians. They're all shaped somewhat like a gun you'd find on Earth, but they've evolved to be just gun-like in their own way. And so this race of Gatlians each has their own unique personality, their unique set of abilities, and you're going to be rescuing them from this evil alien cartel, and together, you got to stop the bad guys.
Look where the face of the monster is pointing. So the Gatlians, their face is pointed towards you, right?
Depending on what gun.
So where do you think the projectiles are coming from on those Gatlians?
Different dialogue scenes and stuff.
Yeah.
Look at us blasting away.
And sometimes you can unlock the guns in a different order than another player has. So when you go back through a level, you'll see things that you would have been able to access if you'd done it in the other order.
That's
you can come back.
That's a huge one.
All right, so we've talked about this crazy good game that sounds amazing. Why should people be excited to play it?
As a studio, we are attempting to bring
They eat ammo
adult comedy into video games.
in their from their mouth. You put the ammo in their mouth, which is pointed towards you.
Like a single small joke that
And then the ammo comes out of the opposite direction of where their face is.
I love that stuff. I love like edge casing and like.
That's what makes you remember a game.
Yeah, like if a player's trying to break the game
Interesting.
in a certain way, and then you have an answer for that for them, that is like such a memorable and amazing moment. It's almost like watching TV, but the viewer is able to reach into the TV and poke a thing, and the character has to respond to that. And there's so much fun to be had for the most part.
You can skip it all. We worked really hard on it if you want to skip it.
Yeah, if you want to just like miss out on like,
Yeah, if you're like a big dummy and you don't want to play the game at all, that's fine. We're not going to judge you. We're just going to be upset.
Basically gamer boy, yeah. The game does look fun. The Gatling race is funny. I imagine the humor is going to be very good.
This is gonna be fun.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre or something again. Yeah, I imagine there's going to be tons of jokes like that. You're going to be shooting the Gatling, and it's going to say, this brings a whole new meaning to getting shit on. Like, the guns are going to be saying dumb stuff like that constantly. The way she was screaming reminded me of that meme. Where are you going? My guess is monkey butt tail.
Pentiment is a narrative adventure game.
I'm
set
locking
in
monkey
16th
butt
century
in. That's
Bavaria,
my guess.
Which is part of the Holy Roman Empire. You play a character named Andreas Mahler, who is an artist working at a Benedictine abbey. He gets involved in a series of murders and scandals and tries to unravel them over a period of about 25 years. The name Pentiment, it is specifically referring to paintings in which there's an older painting underneath the painting that you see on the top. And if you scrape away the top layer, you see what was left behind. This has a bunch of
Hey, Private Time Cat.
Obviously, you're playing a painter, but also it has a lot of significance to the idea of history kind of being covered and uncovered over time.
My bitrate still is not good yet. I'm hoping by the time this showcase ends, my bitrate will be good, and then we can play the game without it looking like, you know, ass. How long has this mouse cursor been right there in the middle? My bad.
Characters and the stories that played out over time. Hannah Kennedy was really integral to defining the art style of Pentiment, especially blending the late medieval illuminated manuscripts with the early modern woodcuts.
Yeah, so there's a lot of major points to solve and kind of marry between wanting this to be a true to the history, true to the feel of the source material that we were referencing as far as the narrative, but also thinking about the types of games that were like what we imagined we wanted as far as a gameplay experience.
From the beginning, I knew that I wanted to portray a community that changed over time, which meant that characters are changing over time. That's really the focus of everything. The buildings do change, but really it's the characters where you see all the crazy stuff happen.
Kids that I had become attached to because it's a 4-year-old, and we designed them to be a 4-year-old, and then they're getting married, and then I felt a weird like emotional reaction to that because I'm like, oh, baby's all grown up.
I think the 16th century has always been really interesting to me because it was a time of such social upheaval in Europe. I think when we look at social change in the past, it seems like it's
the only reason to burn down a windmill is because Frankenstein's monster's hanging out in there.
Maybe more aware than ever that social change is happening constantly, and people are always struggling with it. It's always a difficult process. And so I hope that by looking at people from the past, we can see that even though the setting might be different and the specific issues might be different, ultimately we always struggle with social change.
That makes sense, gamer boy. You would hope so.
He's putting on his bandana.
All right, let's do crime.
Did he say, all right, let's do crime?
All you have to do is keep your mouth. Is your life mission to cause harm?
That is the most non-criminal thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
What we're trying to do is to make a brilliant interactive experience for anyone who loves brilliant storytelling. So people who enjoy films, people who enjoy TV series. It's also a social experience and about sharing these stories with the people you love.
I think we should stick to the plan.
Yeah, stick to the plan.
I took my inspiration from TV shows, prestige shows like, Breaking Bad, Fargo. I really love Dog Day Afternoon. It's such a wonderful setup.
You try that again, and every last one of them leaves in a body bag.
When you write for interactive stories, it's all about the stakes. You want big choices, the tentpole ones that everyone will remember from the chapter they played.
All right, everybody.
But also you
Let's commit some crimes.
Stakes, the drama bit, like the relationships. Are you gonna stay married?
When you lost your job.
Let's do crime. Yeah.
And I
Let's
miss
do
you,
crime.
okay?
That's even worse.
The game deals with very mature themes that you don't normally
Blame
see in a
her.
video game. It really gives you agency over characters that are relatable, that are familiar to you. It's like an interactive story, but with the power of video game behind it.
I only gotta yell and my brothers will come. Now hold your horses, young man. I think you should at least listen to what I have to say.
In the first book, it's mainly structured around a hostage
They said, let's do
situation in a
crime. Yeah, that's
hotel
even
in
worse.
the middle of the desert in Arizona, so it's a pressure cooker.
You want your wife to live? Answer and do exactly what I say.
Book 2 takes another approach entirely, and it's a chase across multiple states in the US.
There's nowhere else to run.
As Dusk Falls is an interactive show, but the important part here is the word interactive. The players are very much needed to help the character on their journey and decide what's going to happen to them, help them grow and change.
It's not like there's one golden path. There's so many different ways through the story.
You can replay it, and then you get to like different stories.
Who are these the people? Is this Telltale? Did they change the name of their company or something and they're trying to act like this is something completely new? Yes, I played a Telltale game. I know what it is.
I don't know, what would you do? I'll try to,
And at the end of the game, when you play,
Why is your Telltale game more interesting than the other? They're explaining the concept of Telltale games as if it's new.
The others that they played with.
I think for me, one of the really important things was that this art style could tell lots of different types of stories. We want to take really beautiful, sort of subtle facial performances, really strong dramatic moments, and just really represent that such that every frame is a painting.
It's a single player and multiplayer.
It's a Telltale game with lower frame rate.
Because we wanted to draw in.
Yeah, I
people
get it.
Who weren't necessarily gamers. Gamers are going to love this game as well because it's a very mature, in-depth story. But this game really taps into your life skills rather than your gamer skills. Puts everyone on a level playing field. You did well there. That is a ferocious job.
I did it. You share the same character. You discuss, you make decisions, and majority wins. It's like each player is like a voice in the character head.
Are you taking the money this time?
I am definitely not.
No, we don't
It's
discuss.
been a massive journey.
No,
and
I beat you all up. Take your controllers away, and then I choose.
touching distance to this game. Yeah, I'm gonna miss it when it's done.
Keyboard warriors.
Let's check out what mysteries, adventures,
Slime Rancher
and,
2.
of course, slimes are waiting for us in the new vibrant world of Slime Rancher 2.
Slime Rancher was a pretty cute, fun game. Anybody here ever played Slime Rancher? It was pretty fun. I enjoyed it. I thought about playing it again at some point because I played it midway through its early access. This looks like the same game so far. It doesn't really look like it's Slime Rancher 2. It looks like it's Slime Rancher out of early access. Where's the cat slime? Show the cat slimes. I want the cat slimes back. They showing the bunny slimes. Who cares, man? Show the kitty cat slimes. It seems like it's Slime Rancher, but oversaturated. Like it's more saturated than it was. Slime Rancher had a lot of saturation to it. This seems like it's too saturated. Bro, I don't see any cat slimes. This is an objectively worse game than the first if it doesn't have cat slimes. Maybe cat slimes went extinct, then my interest in Slime Rancher went extinct. The gun model's too big, man. They need to draw it back. I know why the gun model's that big, though. They want to make sure her arms and fingers are in the shot, so they can show how inclusive they are. But I don't want 1/3 of my screen taken up by a gun model. Pull that shit back, please.
All right, time to get going. First trip in a while. Put this in here. Australia. Passport. I need a passport. Where's my passport? Passport.
I didn't see any cat slime, so I'm not gonna play that game. I'm disgusted. There should have been cat slimes, and they should have had dog slimes as well. I don't see any cat or dogs. Why the hell would I ever play that game?
Where's my Uber?
I'm disgusted by you and your lack of cats, Slime Rancher 2. Nobody cares about your rabbit slimes. They legit should have had more stuff like they should have added rooster slimes and pig slimes. Pig slimes would have been hilarious. with their little tails, little squiggly tails, and their little oinky noses, noses. Oink, oink, oink.
Get ready for the showcase.
I want farm animal slimes. I want a sheep slime. I don't know. Once again, this is feeling like copyrighted shit. It might not be, it might be, but it's not like anything interesting is being said anyways. A goat slime? Yeah. Bah. Then I want like a giraffe slime. Come on, man. A gorilla slime? Oh, that'd be hilarious.
Excited to tell you all about Forza Horizon 5.
Monkey slimes would be the best for sure.
For Forza Horizon
Besides
5.
cat slimes,
so,
obviously.
Mike, let's start with why the team decided to bring Hot Wheels to Forza Horizon 5's Mexico.
Hot
Fans have been telling
Wheels.
us for years about how much they loved Forza Horizon 3.
All right, yeah, I'll be right
So
back.
we've been waiting for the right time to bring everyone another Hot Wheels adventure.
No
Forza Horizon
floofing.
5 presented the perfect opportunity
I'm gonna
to
go
bring
refill
Hot
my
Wheels to life
coffee.
like
Enjoy
never
your Hot
before.
Wheels adventure.
Power
No
of the
floofing.
Xbox Series X and S.
Spider monkey
Does
slime.
sound
That's
like
what I'm
the
talking about.
perfect time for Forza Horizon and
I'll be right
Hot
back.
Wheels. So I'm wondering if you can tell us a little bit more about what to expect being in the clouds of Mexico this time.
Yes, you travel to the clouds above Mexico to visit the Hot Wheels Park, which is comprised of over 200 kilometers of the fastest, most extreme tracks yet. Once there, you'll join the Hot Wheels Academy and set out to take on Forza Horizon's most extreme racing yet and prove yourself a Hot Wheels legend.
Let's go.
As well as the iconic orange Hot Wheels track, you'll take on new driving experiences across gravity-defying magnet tracks, as well as ice, water flume, and rumble tracks.
So we spoke loads about biomes in the build-up to Forza Horizon 5's launch. Are we expecting something similar in Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels as well?
Yes, so we're truly going to see the power of the Xbox Series X and S when we look at Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels' all-new biomes. The amount of detail and diversity that we can pack into the 4 new biomes is breathtaking. We have the rugged Giants Canyon, where you'll hear the growl of your engine bouncing back off the intricately detailed rock formations. The Ice Cauldron, where frozen tundra drips into the glistening molten lava. In Forest Falls, you'll see a tree canopy towering over epic waterfalls. And finally, the visually stunning and exhilarating Horizon Nexus, where the Horizon Festival is suspended among a web of Hot Wheels tracks. And there's more, because new players can jump into Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels as early as possible during the main game's initial experience.
And how are people going to be able to use Event Lab in Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels?
So in Event Lab, you'll have the freedom to design, build, and share using the new Hot Wheels Creation Kit. That's over 80 new track and stunt pieces that instantly snap together thanks to our new building tools. You can then share your creations with the entire community for players to discover and play. We are anticipating our community building an ever-evolving catalogue of new player-created Hot Wheels events that everyone will enjoy.
They all sound absolutely incredible, Mike, but I'm going to ask you the most important question in the room. Can you tell me a bit more about the cars?
Yes, so we have 10 new amazing cars coming to the pack, including 4 new Hot Wheels cars, which have been scaled up to real-life proportions. We have the Diora 2, the Bad to the Blade, the Baja Bone Shaker, and the Chevrolet Hot Wheels Copo Camaro. Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels introduces the most extreme tracks we've seen yet in Forza. So we've added some new extreme track toys and hypercars to go with them.
That's fat.
I want to call out the Hennessy Venom F5 and the Mosler MT900 GT3. Their speed is unlike anything we've seen before.
So we know Forza Horizon 5 fans naturally love co-op, so how is that continuing in Hot Wheels?
So in a first for Forza, you can join up with your friends and play from the very start of the experience in co-op. You and your friends will then take on a new campaign, moving your way up through faster and faster car classes until you unlock the extreme speed of X-Class and become a Hot Wheels legend. You can also choose to take on the world in Horizon Open or team up with your friends to take on a team of drivatars in the Horizon Tour.
Ooh, I absolutely love that. Final question now, though. When can we expect to play?
Yes, so Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels releases on July 19th on Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, Windows PC, and Steam.
Mike, thank you so much for joining me. This has been so much fun, and I cannot wait to play.
All right, I'm back. Looks like they're done talking about Hot Wheels racing games. I haven't touched a Hot Wheels since I was... I don't know, 8 years old or something. They had some Hot Wheels at the children's home I was in. They'd bring them out every now and then and let us play with them. Put them on a little track. Try to make it do a loop-de-loop. And they take them away again and we do something else. Any copyrighted music playing while I was gone? Oh my God, Master Chief is gonna be in Fall Guys. Whoa! Good job, Nintendo. Nintendo popularized crossovers for everybody, huh?
Unintended, of course. Minecraft Legends is the action strategy take on the franchise you never knew you needed. I'm here with Dennis Rees from Mojang Studios, who has just released the world premiere trailer of Minecraft Legends. Dennis, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Malik.
So happy to have you. I mean, this is a really exciting time for the team. Let's talk
I came back with coffee.
That game, I have nothing to back this up, but I feel like everyone on the planet's played Minecraft at this point. But that wasn't enough for you all. You all
What the hell is
Minecraft Dungeons,
Craft?
and now we're moving on to the recently revealed Minecraft Legends. So one, tell me a little bit about what it means for the team to actually be able to reveal the game.
Never heard of it.
And two, just let us know what Minecraft Legends is.
Well,
Do you craft mines?
We're so excited to finally be able to talk about this game with the world. We've been working on this game for some time now. Minecraft Legends is an action strategy game. Is set in the Minecraft universe. And in order to build this, we really wanted to partner with a great company that understands strategy games. And so that's when we reached out with Blackbird Interactive. And in doing so, we were able to create an experience that is welcoming for people who may have
Mind Draft?
Minecraft, but also people who
Sounds like a
have.
horror game, maybe.
And I mean, you've seen the trailer. It's about going and traveling through these beautiful biomes, exploring this world that is familiar yet still mysterious. And so as you explore these lush biomes, you collect resources, and then you use those resources to build defenses from these dangerous but very cute piglins. And in
Not
those
the
defenses, you're able
piglins!
to fight them back and send them back to where they come from. And you know what?
Ooh, send them back where they come from, huh?
With some unexpected
Sounds like you're gonna get
friends, because
canceled.
They're going to help you actually defeat the piglins and send them back to where they come from.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it, and I love what you said about trying to make a game that's both for fans of Minecraft that exist and new fans coming in. Minecraft can go in so many different directions, I feel like, with a new game. What made you choose action strategy?
I can already see the video game articles right now.
Folks at Mojang sitting around talking about what games
They're gonna give Minecraft, whatever it's called, a bad review because they're gonna be like, "This is an allegory for immigration. How dare they?"
We came into Blackbird Interactive, and that was back in 2018.
Everything's
And,
political to those
the
idiots.
project was codenamed Badger. And
Badger.
an interesting little fact for many of those people that might follow Minecraft, if you go back to Minecon 2018 and you look at the shirt that Jens Berenstain was wearing, you'll see a graphic on there, and it's in the shape of a badger head. And really, that was meant to be an Easter egg for years forward.
Really?
Now, that's
I gotta say,
4
I love the
years.
Easter egg. Now, where would you say that Minecraft Legends fits in the overall Minecraft universe?
Well, the Minecraft universe is just always growing and expanding. And if it's not from our partner communities, then It's from Mojang specifically. Like you mentioned, Minecraft Dungeons. That's a great example where Mojang went out.
It's
and
not
built
even a
this
person.
dungeon
That doesn't
crawler
matter to them,
experience in
dude.
the Minecraft universe, and players
That
love it.
pig
It's wonderful. And with
political.
Minecraft Legends, we're trying to do something similar, really. And here we're going to be
That's how
introducing a
communists think,
narratively
man.
driven
Everything's
campaign
political.
with a whole bunch of new characters. And
That
a lot of
spatula you
other
buy at the
things
grocery
that I'm
store,
not ready to share right
it's
now.
political.
Dennis, I thought we were friends. You can share it with me and everyone.
Hey, my
watching.
bit rate's better.
No? Okay, I won't.
By
I
the
won't
time
pry
we stream
anymore,
Xenoblade,
but
it might look
tell us
good.
when the game is coming out and where we can keep up to date.
It's coming out in
Yay!
2023 on PC and console on Xbox Game Pass. And if you want to know more, just follow us Twitter or jump on Minecraft.net.
Dennis, I'm so excited to jump into Minecraft Legends. Thank you so much for stopping by and giving us the lowdown.
Thanks for having me.
What up, everybody? It's your boy Kirsten, aka K Von Doom, and we're here at Xbox Fan Fest. We got a whole lot.
That is exactly what they believe, Gamer Boy. I don't know. I put this showcase at about a 3 out of 10 so far.
They asked me what year Halo came out. Won this sweet jersey. I couldn't believe when I was here on site.
Other than when they were talking about Starfield, I've just been very bored.
Out of this world. It was really cool to see. I'm gonna go get my nails done.
Jesus Christ. This man is gonna get he's gonna get Xbox emblems on his nails. Holy shit. You cannot be that much of a fanboy, my man.
Overall, catch you in the next one.
You cannot be that much of a fanboy. It's not possible. Hey, there she is. Get good. Seems copyrighted. Hold on. Adnina.
Halimo. Drosik Halimo. Gala negosa dros. Hakana sagamos. Hegale. La fenu venido. Garama! Ha ha! 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 Sha! De! Edido! Hegale! Gekdu! Ha!
What is it about Hornet's voice acting that's hype, man?
Halimo. Gala negosa dros. Hakana sagamos. Hegale. La fenu venido.
Adina!
Garama! Ha ha! 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 Sha! De! Edido! Hegale! Gekdu! Ha!
Success, and whenever you talk about that, it's such like passion and tenacity. I love it, and it sounds super important
Kind
to you
of
and the rest of Team
a
Xbox.
character in a final boss fight that actually tells you that to get good right before the boss fight. Every time you lose and you restart the boss fight, she tells you to get good again. Did I get good? That's messed up.
That they choose to put into a game that we all get to experience and enjoy. And that's really the bedrock of our industry, of what motivates us, is to help those people, those developers, bring their stories out. And we think about it in 3 ways. How do we create a vibrant and engaging gamer community for them to come to through Xbox? What are the set of tools and services that we give them that make it easier and faster and more affordable for them to make a game? And how do we create a range of business models that they can use? Because a business model really enables them to perform all sorts of different types of innovation.
You want to play
business
Monopoly
models,
with a
tools,
monkey?
Resources, all these provide
Here, hold on. I'll show you
choices
exactly what Monopoly, what a monkey looks like. Alright, hold on. I might as well turn the audio back on while I'm getting this.
Your feedback. And that was one of the things I loved the most about those experiences. We just don't have them as much anymore, you know, in the way that the world has evolved. And so we thought, gosh, how can we make
The way that the world has evolved,
use the power of
there's
Game
only one
Pass,
group
all
of
the
people
great
responsible for
discovery and
that.
player engagement that is in it, and have it create for creators that opportunity to engage with fans early as they're creating their game, and also for players to get to experience something that they're really anticipating. And so that's what we're going to do. We're actually going to have a program that enables developers to take a level of their
This is
game
what this is what Monopoly with a monkey looks like. Okay, you ready? Are you watching? This is what happens when you hand the Monopoly money or anything to the monkey. Okay.
I think the one thing that we all miss is that connection, right?
He's reaching for it. He's like, it's mine now. Give it to me.
And stuff like that. We still need to deepen it.
Then he gets it.
That connection, you're diversifying.
He's
and then that in return helps you diversify the game and bring diversity into games. So how will Microsoft help to further that front?
Yeah, we think about it all the time, frankly, as Microsoft, as Xbox, in my team in particular, because creators is core to everything we do. You know, if you think about a game, it enables you to experience a perspective, a point of view, in a way that's deep and immersive, unlike any other form
so
of
then you're like, you know what?
everyone having an equal opportunity
That was a fluke. Surely when I hand the monkey more Monopoly money, it'll go different next time. So you hand him some more Monopoly money. And he's
what we've done as a team is we're continuing to expand the set of developers who we're engaging with and bringing them into the Xbox ecosystem. We've actually more
Don't give the Monopoly money to the monkey.
Making games for Xbox, and we saw lots of those games in the last day, which has been pretty cool. And the other thing that we did this year is, for the first time ever, we actually have a presence in Africa.
You won't have Monopoly money anymore.
In Africa, specifically dedicated to working with creators in the region.
So what message would you like to leave for creators who are interested in starting in the industry?
Yeah, I get that question a lot. People say to me, gosh, I would really like to be part of the gaming industry. I'd love to make a game. How do I break through? How do I get involved? I say, first of all, network. Talk to people, meet people, connect with people, just how you and I connected actually at an industry event, which we met at, which was super fun. You know, build that network and that connectivity, because it's so critical in every industry, but I think particularly in gaming, right? You know, go to industry conferences like
Let's
GDC,
network, everybody.
Meet people, learn, try that out. And if you're interested in making a game for Xbox, you can actually go to github.com. You can actually download the Xbox Game Developer Kit and get started. And once you have a game concept, you can also submit it online through id@xbox.com, and then you can self-publish to Xbox, which is another great way. And of course, if you actually want to get involved in the industry, all companies are great.
I should make a video game for Xbox.
I'm biased, obviously.
I mean, hey, you have every right to be so. Sarah, thank you so much for joining us today. And also, thank you to all the viewers for tuning into Extended. We've heard from so many amazing developers on today's show. Now, before we finish, is there anything else you'd like to share with us?
We were talking earlier about the importance of people being able to tell their story through a game and how incredibly powerful it is. I mean, when we were talking about that, I was thinking about an experience we've had as a team that's been very touching for me. So, you know, a couple years ago, we started really consciously extending the depth and breadth of content that we have in the Xbox ecosystem. And it was through that I got to know the team making Stalker 2 really well. And I actually got to intro that game last year in the Xbox Games Showcase, and it was just incredible. And you know, the thing was, when I was looking at that game last year, and I was looking at the story that they were telling, and they were talking about the beauty of the land and their dedication to their culture and their country, And I thought, wow, this is a cool game. This is a compelling story. But sitting here today, you know, recognizing that that team is Ukrainian, they were based in Kiev, looking at that story and what they were showing to the world just feels entirely different and far more poignant and visceral to me. You know, this is a team who's talking about their culture, talking about fighting for the existence of being a nation, of being a people, of having their own language.
Bro,
And
no one
now
plays
all
fucking
as a
video
world
games
have
for
gotten to
politics.
see how
They play
tenuous
video
that in
games to
fact
get away
is.
from that shit, you dumbasses.
And it's an honor, frankly, to be part of this industry.
If they want to be
and to have the
miserable, they can
opportunity
just
to
walk
uplift their
outside or turn on the
voices and to let
fucking
their story
news.
be told through a gaming experience, especially knowing what we know now about the situation in Ukraine. And as part of that, they actually
You know
shared
what?
with us
Here,
something that they
let
wanted
me
us to share with all of you.
let me show you
today
guys
as
something.
part of the show.
You guys ready for this? I'm gonna show you how much. I'm gonna show you how much these people actually fucking care about people's suffering. List of ongoing armed conflicts. Whoa! What the fuck is this? Why are all these colors here? Ongoing list of ongoing conflicts. 210,000 deaths. 2 million deaths. 300,000 deaths. 38 to 85,000 deaths. The current. Nope, that's not even the current. Nope, never mind. 300 to 500,000 deaths. Where's 210, 9,000, 506, 5,000, 17,000, 64,000, 29,000, 100, 1,215,000, 301,000, 23,000, 62,000, 358,000, 606,000, 400,000, 12,000, 15,000, 9,000, 5,000. $2 fucking million. So why is there only one fucking war they're talking about? I wonder why there's only one fucking war they're talking about. I wonder if there's some sort of ulterior motive. I wonder if there's some sort of ulterior motive. Why is this the only fucking thing that they talk about? This is it. Nothing else exists in this world. Oh wait, maybe some things do exist beyond that. Like, I don't know, the 2 fucking million people currently dead from this. They're not talking about that, are they? You want to know why they're talking about Ukraine and Russia? Because one of the political sides have said that the other side is with Russia, and that's how they got elected. And there's an election coming up, and Russia's doing naughty shit. So guess what? They can get reelected.
or Circa for short, I believe the wonders that we will...
News outlets and politicians are soulless monsters. If they're trying to tell you they care about something, know that they do not, and it's them trying to manipulate you. It doesn't mean you shouldn't care about that thing, but know why they're doing it. And why they're doing it is because they think they can gain some sort of power over you by talking about it. I don't see them talking about any of the other shit. Look at this. This shit isn't old news. This is current ongoing. 2020. This shit started in 20 in Africa. 20. Cumulative casualties 300 to 500 fucking thousand. The Ukraine and fucking Russia shit's been going on since 2014. 38 to 85,000. Why the fuck aren't they talking about this? Because they know you don't care as much about this, because this isn't related to anything political for them. They don't know how to spin this into making them millions of dollars on oil and manipulating people's votes and shit. Africa needs to get more oil, and they need to figure out how to make it so that, you know, people can win elections by talking about it, and then people will care about this shit. You'll hear this shit on the news every day. Fucking stupid.
The old one, fearing change.
Like I said, it doesn't mean you shouldn't care about people who's suffering.
To remember us as cowards, or as those who dared to venture forward to a new, better
But know what their motivations are. There's a reason they're doing the things that they're doing and saying the things they're saying. And they're all heartless monsters. They do not care.
I remind our listeners that a similar incident happened in our region quite recently, ruining homes.
Every day these politicians and people like that make decisions that kill people all the time. Do you see them being worked up about it?
City officials urge people to stay calm, assuring them the situation is totally under.
They couldn't care less. Yeah, they care about it for the wrong reasons. Yes, they care about it because it is something they can manipulate you with. That's why. This is the sole reason why. Do not trust these people. All politicians are evil. All news organizations are evil. These people just want to destroy you. Or manipulate you. Not necessarily destroy you, but definitely manipulate you. But yeah. From 2000, but that's all you got to look at to see how stupid they are. During all that COVID shit, did you guys once hear anyone on the news mention this right here? Did anyone say this word right here? No, they didn't. They talked about other things that they thought they could manipulate you with. And it will remain that way all the time. Look at Mexico. 34,000 deaths in 2020. That's our neighbor. That's our fucking neighbor, dude. Did you know? Did you know that in 2020, like, there was like 30,000 deaths or something like that? That's our fucking neighbor, dude. They didn't talk about that, did they? You know why they didn't talk about it? Because they're not supposed to talk about it. It is record. It is on record that our government has directly worked with and supplied those people things to help them out. I'm not going to go in details because I don't remember the details. It's been too long. But it is on record. It is like public knowledge. They're not supposed to talk about it. That's why. That's our neighbor, dude. Our neighbor. I heard about it back then, but that's because I look at other things other than just normal media sources, right? They were having like bombings and stuff going on. Like there were like little mini battles going on and stuff. I heard about that and I was like, damn, man, that's messed up. I never heard a single news company mention it. I never heard a single person I knew in real life bring it up. I never heard a single person online, like in my chat or anything like that, bring up the stuff that was happening in Mexico. Not one. But everybody knows about Ukraine. If it was Egypt invading Ukraine, no one would say a fucking word. You wouldn't know about it. Let's look at this part over here again before we switch games. Bro, why isn't it playing?
Making decisions that kind of matter in mine, which is going to be different than everybody else's. And I think that's really where the magic of a Bethesda Game Studios game happens.
Speaking about the scope of everything, Todd said that this is what an epic RPG is. What does Bethesda define an epic RPG as?
I think, again, it's sort of leaning into, look, there's a lot of folks who take a lot of different approaches on what does an open world mean. And Bethesda Game Studios always pushes themselves to the most freedom and least limitations, right? Where the items in the world are all real things. You walk into a store and there's a bunch of weapons or whatever. Like, that's not just art on a countertop. Like, you could pick those up. You could steal them and run out of...
Oh, throwing shade at what was that? At Obsidian. That Obsidian game. What is it? Something World, Outer Worlds. Was it Outer Wilds, Outer Worlds? I think it was Outer Worlds. Yeah, they're throwing shade at Obsidian. Obsidian's Outer Worlds game because it was like that. Like I was like, the world feels way more dead than a Bethesda game. because everything was just art. It was just an art asset. You walk into a town and there's shit all over the place, but it's just shit. It's background stuff. It's like a matte painting. It's like you're walking in through a landscape and you're like, wow, I'm in the wilderness, but really you're just inside of a studio and there's a green screen and you're walking in front of the green screen and you're just looking at a television and it makes it look like you're walking in the wilderness, and there's a rock down there by your feet but you can't pick it up. Like that's what Outer Wilds felt like, right? Like you couldn't interact with anything. Like nothing was interactable unless it was like in a box.
You can create chaos. Like we don't want to put too many limits on what the player is or.
Like that's one of the most fun things about the Bethesda games that they kept. I'm surprised they kept that and they didn't get rid of that, because they got rid of a lot of their more complex mechanics throughout the years. But I like to be able to pick up trash and set it on top of an NPC's head. It amuses me, okay?
Or isn't allowed to do. We love it when players say, I wonder what happens if, and then they try it. And then they get to see like, oh my Lord, chaos ensued and it was insanity. Everybody was shooting at me. And like, that's, I think, the beauty of the
And then you reload the game. Yep. I don't think there's going to be aliens in this game, guys. I think there'll be alien monsters, but I don't think there's going to be alien people. My expectations for this game have been lowered even more. I think it's just going to be a less interesting Fallout in space. At least Fallout has different species, right? Like, there's 2 species in Fallout that you get to interact with commonly. Like, yes, there's other ones, like there's super mutants and things like that, but they're too stupid to really interact with very often. So really all you have is ghouls and humans. 2 species.
As the game studios and the number of ways that they push for you
in
to
this
explore
game, there's
that.
just
Like,
going to be
it's not
humans.
just one, it's you could spend thousands of hours doing nothing but shipbuilding and like focus that as all you're about, and that's okay.
Like, the value of going in space and visiting other worlds in a video game, and those other worlds do not have alien life to interact with, like the value of that is infinitely less than a game that does have aliens to interact with. Like, who? Like, you might as well just make it so I'm visiting other countries, right? Like, it's like, yay, I'm visiting other worlds and there's different humans here with the exact same buildings no matter where I go. You know it's going to be like that, right? Like, you're going to go to planet A and the buildings are going to look like whatever they look like. And then you're going to go to planet B, and if there's any buildings in planet B, they're going to look identical to the buildings in planet A. Exact same style. There won't be a different culture with different style buildings that have different architecture based on the planet's weather and their own culture that they developed over time there. No, it'll be the exact same cookie cutter building in planet A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Also, the other problem with this game is that there are 1,000 planets, okay? There's 1,000 planets, and as I said, I looked it up. In Fallout 4, there were 320 locations. 320 locations in Fallout 4. So, how many of those planets are going to be anything other than procedurally generated empty landscapes? Let's be extremely generous. Let's be extremely generous and say that they threw 10 times. Hey, Axel. Let's be extremely generous and say they threw 10 times the amount of workers at this game as they did Fallout 4. Okay? 10 times. So they're going to be able to make 10 times the amount of locations that are in Fallout 4. That is an absurdly massive thing. That is crazy. You're increasing the scope of your game by 10 times, and it was already a AAA budget game with over 320 handcrafted locations. Holy shit. That is big. You ready for this, though? Now there's 3,200 locations that are handcrafted. You know what that means? There's 1.2 handcrafted locations per planet. They're all still dead and empty planets, aren't they? If you have a game that is 10 times bigger than Fallout 4, 10 times bigger than Fallout 4, you still only have 1.2 handcrafted locations per planet. And that's if they had exactly 1,000 planets. They said they had over 1,000 planets. Ah, dude, it should have just been like a solar system. It should have been like 3 or 4 solar systems or something. And they all should have, like, each solar system should have had like an alien race that was more common. Like, it was this alien race comes from this solar system and we're gonna go visit it. Like, we've discovered like 5 other alien races throughout the galaxy, and they inhabit their own places, and we've all started to intermingle, right? So you will see some humans on their planet as well, but mostly it's whatever race, right? And every planet is handcrafted. And then you divide up the 300 to 500 locations that you're going to make in the entire game, because they're not going to make over 1,000 locations, 1,000 handcrafted locations. That's just not going to happen. Yeah, so that's the problem. Some planets will probably have lots of... Yeah, exactly. There's going to be like hub planets that are more likely to have more than one. So what'll happen is... like a main planet that has multiple quests in it will have like 2 or 3 cities. But then there'll be like 5 planets, because there were like 2 or 3 cities on this one planet that had stuff. There'll be like 5 planets with nothing. Absolutely nothing on it. Just barren. And then there'll be another planet that has like 1 big city. And then there'll be this planet that has like 2 big cities. And then, so because that had 2 big cities, there's like 2 or 3 extra planets that have nothing on it. Like I said, and that's if you're being generous. That's if you're saying they're making over 1,000 handcrafted locations, which is extremely, extremely unlikely. Remember, Fallout 4 has only about 320 handcrafted locations throughout that game. Like I said, if we're extremely generous, we still have almost... Wait. Did I say 1.2? That would be... That would have to mean that there was over 3,000 planets. They said over 1,000. My bad. So there'd be about... Like, if they had 10 times the budget, 10 times the amount of workers, 10 times the amount of time put into the game, then you would end up with about 3 locations per planet if there's a 10,000 planets. 3.2 if there was 1,000 planets. I don't know why I said 1.2. That was weird. That would mean there was 120 locations. I'm surprised nobody in chat corrected me or picked up on that. Yeah, because there's 320 locations, so 10 times that is 3,200, right? So it 10,000, I mean 3,200 divided by 1,000 is 3.2. So there'd be 3.2 locations per planet. Keep in mind, many of these locations in Fallout are simply a gas station. Like this, a single gas station is a marker on your map. Sometimes it's a whole town. Sometimes it's a city that has like 50 markers on it, and one of those markers is a magazine store. Right? It's rough. Like when they said there's going to be 1,000 planets, like it threw off so many alarm bells in my mind, and I'm very, very worried.
Okay, but you could also be about exploring every planet and finding all of the good, and that's okay. Or you could just play the main story and be like, I want a kind of experience that I'm guided through so that I kind of get to see stuff, and I might stop here and there. Oh, there's a cool side quest that I got, but you know, I want something that sort of leads me through, because I'm a little, you know, it can be a little daunting to say you can go do whatever I want. Like, ooh, I don't know what I should do. So some folks want a little bit of a guided path, or to understand where the fun is, and no approach is wrong. Like for me, that's epic, because it says we aren't putting any limits on what you can or can't do. We're going to set you loose and just sit back and watch the beauty that you create with your own stories and the way that you solve problems or choose to spend your time in this world we've created.
I love that. And you know, what you said about, you know, those moments that maybe you experience.
What I
don't,
want
like,
from
those are some of
him,
the best moments if I think back to playing RPGs.
he's not
and
asking the
discussing
right
with friends.
questions.
Oh, did you see that? No, I didn't see that. Where did you?
He's not asking the right questions. In fact, he's normally not asking any questions. He's just making statements. Anyways, I have a question that I want him to answer. Okay?
Did you see it? Back, you know,
or choose to spend the
Listen to
beauty
this.
that you can't do. We're going to set you. It says we aren't putting any limits on what you can or can't do. We're going to set you loose and just sit back and watch the beauty that you create with your own stories and the way that you solve problems or choose to spend your time in this world we've created.
I love that.
So I'm going to make a new channel. I really should get on that. And maybe I'll make this my first video, huh? Listen to what he says again.
That's epic, because it says we aren't putting any limits on what you can or can't do. We're going to set you loose and just sit back and watch the beauty that you create with your own stories and the way that you solve problems or choose to spend your time in this world we've created.
I love that.
He's not going to ask him the correct question when he says that. So when Pete Hines says that to you, what do you think how do you think you would respond? Because me, I would say, what is it in your world besides building my spaceship and looking at planets that is going to encourage me to do those things that you're saying I'm going to do? What's your gameplay loop? Like, what is the motivation? Like, yes, I can do the story, right? You're saying there's no limits to me, right? You're saying there's no limits. So when I land my fancy spaceship on a new planet, what is there beyond No Man's Sky style of just looking around at this planet and seeing what random creatures might be on it, mining out iron ore, and then leaving the planet? Why am I there? Because exploration is interesting. Exploration is interesting. But No Man's Sky offers billions of planets that I can land on, look around, look at a randomly generated alien, a randomly generated landscape, go ooh ah, then take off of my starship and go somewhere else. Why would what is different about your game? What is your game offering? You say I'm free to do anything. What are these anythings that I have to interact with? All right. We're gonna switch over to Xenoblade. I'm gonna go ahead and make a note of this. I really need to start making videos on. I plan to make another channel, and you need to really get that set up and start making videos and stuff. I've just been very lazy about it. But this is the kind of stuff I'd like to discuss, right? Like, that is a very important question that this guy didn't ask. Like, I need to know why these things are, like, why I'm doing these things. Alright, I made the note. I may or may not make a video discussing it. Yeah, what does your game have that No Man's Sky doesn't? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because it's gonna be a $60 game, right? It's gonna be a $60 game. And yeah, it's gonna have a story. How like there's a handful of questions that need to be answered. Like, how long is that story? How many handcrafted locations are there? Are there any alien intelligent races? Why should I visit any world beyond looking around at landscapes and random alien monsters? These are a few of the extremely pertinent questions that haven't been answered or asked. It's extremely concerning. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead. Let me go ahead and set this up. I'm setting up the next stream for Xenoblade. I'm going to take a break. And we're going to come back and we're going to stream some Xenoblade. Ready for this one? What is the difference between your randomly generated planet and No Man's Sky randomly generated planet? Woo! Now that's a question. That's a fucking question right there. That right there, that is the question that cuts straight to the point. I figured out the question. What is the difference between your randomly generated planet and No Man's Sky's randomly generated planet? Oh, 100% there's going to be quests that you have to travel one planet to another. There's going to be a quest where you are told to mine some artifact. You go there, you find some ancient alien ruins. You fight some monsters, you get the artifact, and then you go back. Like, there's going to be lots of quests like that. There's going to be enemy humanoid faction A is doing something we don't like on planet C. We'd like you to go to planet C and infiltrate their base and either kill or steal something from us. 100% that's how it's going to be. Basically, the way I see it as being is that, so take Fallout 4, right? Take Fallout 4. Take all the locations in Fallout 4 and split them apart. Now, take that small town and put it on planet D. Take that prison in Fallout like New Vegas and put that on planet C. Take the major city and put that on planet A. Take that gas station that had some really cool stuff in it, put that on planet F. Take that enemy vault, that bad guy vault with all the bad guy monsters in it, put that on planet G. So basically, the way I'm picturing the game right now is Fallout without the post-apocalyptic motif. And instead of going down a busted up road, you get on your spaceship and you fly straight to the location. And then you land outside away from the location because they'll probably have something that shoots your ship down if you're too close. And then you fight your way towards that location. Do whatever you have to do with that location. Go back to your fast travel back to your spaceship and then fly to another place. That's what I'm picturing the game. Now, I can definitely have fun with that if they made the gameplay good. But I think that the majority of people are going to be very pissed off how shallow the game's most likely going to be. And it's going to be something that could have been way more fun if they took that planet size, that planet number down from 1,000 and brought it down to about 10. And then divided up the however many locations. Let's be generous and say that it's actually going to be 3,200 locations, which is ridiculously absurd. It won't be that many. And then you spread those 3,200 locations across 10 planets. Now you have a game that people are going to fucking love. It's going to feel like you're playing Fallout 4 without the post-apocalyptic motif. Instead, it's a sci-fi, futuristic space thing. And it'll feel like you have, because you're timesing it by 10 the amount of content, which will not be that way. There'll probably be about 320 locations, the same thing. But let's pretend like it is 3,200 locations. Then at that point, it'll feel like you're playing Fallout, except there's like 10 different entire maps that you can explore. Like, it's 10 Fallout games in one. That would blow people's minds. What's more likely, if we're less generous and you bring it down to about 10 planets, is that you have about 320 locations again, except those 320 locations are spread out to 10 maps instead of on one giant map. Yeah, I am still live, and that's because I'm still talking daily. Anyways, let me set up the stream. We're switching to Xenoblade. Yeah, I need to have that second channel. What I'm gonna do is, I think I'm just not gonna worry about the branding that much. I'm just gonna copy and paste. I'm gonna create a channel. I'm gonna copy and paste my stuff, and it's gonna have the same stupid banner and all that other stuff. Not gonna change it at all. That way I get that done, and then I'll work on doing the banners and stuff like that some other time. That way I can start making content for you guys. Anyways, let me go ahead and set up this next stream. I know for sure I'm going to be able to get some enjoyment out of it. I mean, I got some enjoyment out of Fallout 76. I hated that game, but I still did get some enjoyment out of it. It's hard not to in a Fallout game. Unfortunately, Fallout 76 was a lot more dead than the average Bethesda game, because unlike what they were talking about there, because it was an online game, you couldn't pick up things and interact with everything. No. You could pick up everything, but it was like, that was it. You couldn't interact with it. It was just like static. Because, you know, that would have been complicated and buggy to do online. It would have been expensive to go have a room with 100 different objects in that room. And if one player picks it up and moves it from the counter to a desk, it would, like, everyone would have to do that, see that. And that they're not going to bother programming that shit on that outdated engine. That's ridiculous. Okay. So I'm scheduling the stream for about 25 minutes from now. I'm gonna grab me a snackies. By a snack, I mean I'm actually just gonna eat a meal, and I'm probably gonna do a little bit of exercising too, try to get the blood flowing. And then I'm also gonna talk to my mom about something. Well, we'll see. So I'm gonna let you guys go. I'm going to be back in about 25 minutes from now, where we're going to play some Xenoblade. I already have the stream scheduled. I didn't realize I muted my phone, so I thought you meant the end of the stream. My bad. No problem. Yeah, I've been talking about how I feel about Fallout. I mean, this game here for a while, the Starfield. I'm pretty worried. In a world where No Man's Sky did not ever exist, I would be very excited for this. I saw value in thank you, Mexican Tail. I saw value in No Man's Sky, even when it was at launch. At launch, when it was at its worst, I still saw value in that, in just going around and exploring worlds that with nothing in them really than randomly generated monsters and landscapes. It was neat. Nothing like that had existed before. We already have No Man's Sky, and it is extremely competent now at doing that. Like, they have really improved that game a lot, and it was already something I could enjoy. So I want to know what Starfield is going to do that is different from No Man's Sky when it comes to those worlds. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and go. Have a nice one. I'll see you guys in about 25 minutes. Bye. Let me type that in chat too. I'll be back in about 25 minutes. We'll be playing a Xenoblade. Hope to see you there. All right, bye everybody.